What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel Journey with G Poppy. Today, I want to talk to you about retirement and preparing to retire. What's your strategy going to be for retirement? So, the strategy is going to look different for every person, because everyone's situation is a little bit different. But the younger you start thinking about these things, the better you are. Um, so, here today, I want to lay out a couple things that I think are very important when you start considering retirement. Okay, so the number one thing that I want to suggest to you guys that say are in your 30s or 40s or even early 50s is to live beneath your means. So many Americans live above or at or above their means, and when I say means, I mean uh, what you have to live on, right? So what your pay is, so you can spend everything that you have, and in order to look good, for people around you, or try to live at the same level as other people that you see around you. However, when you think about retirement, it's a good plan to live beneath your means. So, what I mean by that is, whatever money you make, don't live at that level that you're currently earning income. Um, so, what I suggest is to invest, max out your 401k. I know right now the stock market's not doing great, um, but like, say, if your company matches 8%, I would recommend investing at least 16% into your 401k. And if you do that at a pre-tax, you generally won't miss that money, as much as you think. So I would suggest maxing out your 401k, even beyond what your employer matches. Um, so 401ks, they typically, early, when someone is as young, they generally invest at a high risk for your your 401k. So it's mainly, a lot of it is in the stock market. So if you buy into the stock market now, it could be a good time, actually, because it's down um, right now. So you could potentially make a lot of money, 10 years from now. But you never really know. But so that's one thing first thing I would suggest, or the second thing rather. So live beneath your means. Don't try to live like everybody else. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak. Invest in your 401k through your employer. And the third thing I suggest is to make a plan to eliminate your debt. So when you eliminate debts, you want to eliminate the highest interest rate debt that you have. Most people have a home mortgage, and that's considered good debt when you're young. But so eliminate, that credit card debt. That's probably the biggest one. So eliminate your credit card debt and stop using your credit card so much. It's so easy to spend money on your credit card, and if you don't pay it off every month, then that interest just keeps growing and growing that you have to pay back. So eliminate, once you eliminate your credit card debt, then take the money you were diverting to your credit card monthly and go to the next highest interest um, loan that you have, a loan or whatever you have debt, whether it be your car loan or truck loan, or whatever it is, or could be like a personal loan or a home equity loan, something like that. So eliminate those debts, and then take all that money that you were paying on these other debts and divert it to, hopefully, lastly, your mortgage debt, and focus on that. So once you get out of debt, then take the money you were paying on these bills, your home mortgage, your car, your truck, your personal loans, your credit card debt, and then either invest or save that money. And then divert divert your pay increases to your, also whenever you get, say you get an annual pay increase, divert that money to either invest it or save it. And then I recommend saving 1 year of your net pay before you retire. Put it into your savings account. And when I say net pay, I mean the money that you actually take home. Like, so you've taken out the money for your health care, your 401k, and all the different insurances and whatnot. And whatever you bring home on a weekly basis, start investing as much as that, or diverting as much of that into your savings. So when you get a raise, if you say you get a 5% increase or 3% or whatever it is, so as soon as you, at the beginning of the year, whenever you get that raise, divert that amount of money to your savings account. And that way, and just continue to live at a lower level as far as your net pay. Just continue to stay at that same level, divert that extra money into your savings or invest it. And then, so yeah, I recommend saving 1 year of your net pay before you retire. And then there are ways that you can reduce your expenses, if possible, reduce your expenses. There are a lot of things, that you really don't need, quote unquote. So there are wants and there are needs, and there's a lot of things we want or may want because our neighbor Billy has a boat. We might say, well, I need a boat too, or I want a boat, I should say, because you don't really need a boat. So look at those things, ways that you can reduce your expenses. And then once your home or your properties or whatever are paid off, I recommend putting them into what's called a living trust. Suze Orman has a book out called The Ultimate Retirement Guide, for people over 50. And it has a lot of things in there that are very good. I'm not saying I necessarily agree with everything she has in her book, but there's a lot of good things in there. And it also explains how to do a living will. It explains how to do a living trust, So there's a lot of things in there, tools in a kit that she sells that can be very helpful. So then, and lastly, one of the biggest things that keep people from retiring is health benefits. So for those that work for, say, the federal government, the state or county government, and also companies that have a union, they have most of them have a lot of good options for after retirement, continue to pay into your health benefits so you can continue to be covered with health benefits, and then you can retire and still have those same benefits or similar benefits. Some companies provide pensions. Now, pensions are becoming more and more a thing of the past because companies went from a defined benefit, which is a pension, like when you retire, you get X amount of money each month, and then they went to a defined contribution. So what the companies do is they divert some of your pay to a retirement account, the 401k for you, and then the onus is on you to invest it wisely. And then as these 401k strategies start out at very high risk, mainly stock market, as you get closer to your goal retirement age, the risk gets less and less, and then it ends up being more in bonds or things of that nature toward the end. So the question you need to think about is what is your age that you want to retire? You need to think about this when you're young. You don't want to wait till you're 55 and then start thinking about retirement. You need to start planning now. The sooner you start planning, the better you'll be prepared. So with health benefits, I retired at 59 and a quarter. Could have, and I was fortunate enough to have a few pensions and a good bit of money that I diverted over the years into my 401ks. And what I did with my 401ks is I rolled them all into an IRA, a guaranteed interest IRA. So that, in other words, I won't lose any money from my IRA In fact, I'll gain some money. It won't be a ton, but I also won't have the risk of losing my retirement, my IRA. So that's another option that you can do once you retire, or so the 401ks, if you leave a company and you have money in a 401k, you can start drawing from that at 55 years of age without penalty. And you can do some research online about the 55-year rule about the 401ks, and just educate yourself about that. But if you retire from a company at 59 and a half, or retire from a company at 59 and a half, you can start drawing from your 401k without penalty as well. Myself personally, I chose not to start drawing from my 401k because I didn't really need to, because I planned well enough in advance. And then Social Security is another thing, that you may or may not have when you retire. Sue Zorman recommends not drawing from your Social Security until you're 70 years old. And I don't know that I necessarily agree with that, because if you say you start drawing from your Social Security at 62 or 65 or 67, you may live long enough to recoup that money that you would start making at 70. What happens if you turn 70 and you start drawing from your Social Security, and then you live 5 years? You didn't make out very well. Hopefully you live longer, but so that's going to be a personal choice of yours as well. You may not get as much money per month, but if it's over the course of many years, that it kind of evens out, or can even out, provided your health holds up. So back to the health benefits. What I did, I started working for a county government, in a part-time job that pays, or provides full-time benefits. So, that's another option you can look at in order to get health benefits. And for people that have retired from the military, they may have benefits, through the VA. Obamacare is not necessarily a great option from what I've heard, because the deductible is some crazy amount, like $20,000 a year. So, unless you have a lot of extra money saved up, that I don't know how much. If you have a major health issue, then that could be a big problem for you. Anyway, so these are some things that need to be considered, when you start thinking about retirement. But first of all, you need to figure out when you want to retire, and then make your plan tailored upon that age that you want to retire. So I hope this was helpful to you, and send me your comments. Again, I would appreciate if you could subscribe to my channel, Journey with G Poppy, and like this video, or give me negative, constructive criticism if you want. That's up to you. But so it's really good talking to you guys. I hope you have a great day, and hope you'll be poised and ready to retire whenever your date comes. And take care. Talk to you later.